Hello, hi, it's Henry the computer guy, and you welcome to our lesson number 23. And in today's lesson, we are actually going to be talking about the ICT tools security threats and actually the measures we can use to prevent or stop these threats. So, what is actually a threat? A threat is like something that has the potential to cause serious harm to a system that you're having. You have your computer. For example, if you get a virus, it can actually eat all the files or delete all the files that you're actually having onto your computer. So, in other words, a threat is something that has a potential to make harm to your system. So, we are going to be looking at that in today's lesson. So, let's say they're telling us that ICT tools, like any other tools, need protection because they can be exposed to a number of risks, such as theft. For example, you have a computer lab. Someone can break through the computer lab and take all the computers. A virus, you can get a virus through sharing, let's say, removable disks. You get it onto your computer, then it erases everything that you had. It makes some files to be corrupt. Then vandalism, that specifically means the complete defacing or destroying of either the hardware or the software. So they are telling us that the number of risks such as the theft, virus, vandalism, and others, as we are going to be looking at them. However, care must be taken in terms of handling when they are in use and after use to protect them and make them less expensive to maintain. That means that whenever you're handling a component, you have to take some extra care. Whenever you're using it, you have to take some extra care. And even when you're not using them, you have to take extra care. And they're telling us that we have what we call physical security. That means physical, something has to be seen. That is the physical security. We have the electronic security. We have the document or file security. How can we keep our, let's say, documents onto our computer secure? And lastly, the network security. You're using a network, how can you actually prevent some people from accessing your computer through that network? So, and they're telling us that these are very crucial in addressing the measures of protecting and caring for ICT tools. That means that whenever you're caring for an ICT tool, you're protecting it. Look at the physical security, look at the electronic security. For example, using cameras to watch over the area or the item that you're guarding. Look at the document security. How secure are your documents? Then look at the network security. You're using the internet, but are you actually secure? So these ones will actually help us to address those issues. Some examples of these security measures include burglar proofing. For example, you have a computer lab. Under physical security, we have what we call burglar proofing. For example, fitting strong locks onto the doors and windows, for example, make them firm to prevent safety of the components that you're having there. Then use of passwords for electronic security. You have a computer, why do you leave it there without a password when you have some sensitive data there? That is the electronic. Another one, which is watermarking for document security. Put a watermark in your document to prevent it from, let's say, unauthorized duplication. You can make them expire at a certain amount of time. You can also put passwords on them such that if someone wants to open that document, has to put a password or provide a code. That is document security. And lastly, the use of firewall for network security. What is a firewall? A firewall is specifically a software or hardware that can limit unauthorized access to our computer or network. It prevents someone from accessing your network without even your consent. So let's continue. And we have some of the threats of not protecting ICT tools. We are going to be looking at those threats. But before we look at the threats, let's define what a threat is in ICT. A threat in the context of computer security refers to anything that has the potential to cause serious harm to a computer system. If anything has a potential of harming your computer system, then we call it a threat. It has the potential of destroying the information you have on your computer, then it becomes a threat. Or someone can as well say a computer system threat is anything that leads to loss or corruption of data or physical damage to the hardware or infrastructure. For example, someone breaks in to the computer lab, then destroys everything that you're having there. We call that one the vandalism. So that one is termed as hardware vandalism. Complete dismantling or destroying of the computer hardware. So a threat in the context of, let's say, ICT or security, computer security, it is that item or thing that has the potential to cause serious harm to our computer system. We continue. So we are going to look at some of these threats to ICT tools, and they're telling us that they include the physical threats and the non-physical threats. That means that under the physical threats, these are physical, you can see them. Yet for the non-physical, at times we don't see them. They can happen on a network. This is someone hacking into your system. You don't see him or her, but actually he's trying to access the system you're using. So let's begin with what we call the physical threats. And they're telling us that intentional act of destruction, e.g., theft, someone comes and breaks into the computer lab, takes all the components there. Vandalism of, let's say, the infrastructure. Someone comes and breaks the computer down. Complete defacing or destroying of the computer hardware. That is what we term as the vandalism. That is physical. And they're telling us that vandalism means destruction of infrastructure or hardware. Actually, it can also be a software. Destroying the software that you're going to be using onto the computer. So it can be divided into either software vandalism or hardware vandalism. Destruction of that item that you're having. And they're telling us we also have what we call environmental conditions. These ones happen without our consent. It is just God's will. For example, extreme temperatures. Temperatures may rise up. High humidity. Heavy rains. And lightning. You've not asked for it, but it is God's plan. Who has actually made it happen. So those are also environmental conditions, and they are also physical. Then we come to, let's say, the natural events, e.g. the floods. You've left your computer there, actually you've gone home, then all of a sudden floods, it rains so heavily, then you get what we call the floods. It goes into the computer lab, destroys everything there. Earthquake comes and destroys everything in the computer lab. And other tornadoes, let's say a storm. It happens without you even knowing or prepared. So those are called the physical threats. Those are called the physical threats. So the non-physical threats are specifically, at times we cannot even see them. Those are the non-physical. And they're telling us that we have the viruses. A virus is specifically that program that is going to, let's say, affect you working of the computer. It affects the normal working of the computer. It is designed by someone to affect your working of a computer negatively. So for us to overcome this, we need to get what we call or install an antivirus software to detect and remove the viruses from our computers. If you always share removable storage devices, that means that you have to always scan them before opening them. Then keyloggers. These ones can be installed on your computer. Then they record every keystroke on your computer. For example, those people always go to the bank and ask for help from other people's computers. Someone might be having what we call a keylogger installed there. You use his or her computer, access your account, then he will capture the credentials that you've used to enter or access your account. You cannot see it running because it is installed or it runs in the background. So you always have to be very careful when you're borrowing some ICT tools or devices. So it records every keystroke someone writes onto the computer. Always be careful. And they're telling us we also have what we call the denial of service attack. What does denial of service attack mean? At times it is abbreviated as the DOS. It is specifically an incident in which a user or organization is denied a service or resource they are supposed to have. For example, I might be having my airtime onto my phone, but I'm not able to make a call, yet I have my airtime there. Or I may be in need of withdrawing money from my mobile money account, but the machines or the network is down. I cannot do that. So they have denied me the service I'm authorized to get or to use. That is what we call the denial of service attack. Let's continue. We have another one which is called the distributed denial of service attack, which is the DDoS. And here, this one occurs, for example, here large or multiple numbers of computerized systems attack a single target or system. For example, if hackers want to bring down, let's say, a system, they launch an attack of many computers called zombies to attack only one computer. Actually, they are going to send it requests, many of the requests. Then it will fail to recognize or carry out all the tasks they have given it to it. So all of a sudden, it breaks down. So those computer housing the attack, they are the ones called the zombies. All of them, many of them are going to be attacking only one computer. So that is called the distributed denial of service attack. Then we can also talk about the phishing, which is specifically a technique used to gain personal information for purposes of identity theft using fraudulent email messages that appear to come from, let's say, legitimate businesses. Assuming that you're having an account with, let's say, Stanbic Bank or Equity Bank. So someone is going to be, let's say, a hacker, is going to be sending you a message which appears to be coming from your exact bank where you have the account. So for you, you'll see it. It will actually be telling you, hey, you update your account because we are doing this and this. Then all of a sudden for you, enter your personal information, which is fine and right. They will capture that information, go to your bank, then withdraw your money from the account. So that means that they will direct you, or they will be telling you something that, let's say you think of that your bank does always. We are updating our system, so you provide your information here and update your system too. So whenever you do that, they will capture the information you have used. That is called phishing. Then lastly, we can talk about the hacking. There are many others. We are not going to finish them. Let me talk about the hacking, which is the unauthorized access to someone's computer. You're seated there, you're using the same network, but someone tries to access your computer without your consent and without your knowledge. They can transfer some information from your computer to their computer. So that is hacking. So in the next lesson, we are going to be discussing how we can apply some of these securities. For example, the physical security, the electronic security, the document or file security, and network security to stop all these threats or prevent all these threats that we have been looking at. Thank you for watching. It's been Henry the Computer Guy. I'll see you in the next video. I sign out. Bye-bye.